All right. I'm looking at a red box, and the red box states the word live, and I'm consulting my box. And I think at the end of the day, there's no escape, gentlemen. We are, in fact, live. I've been looking forward to this event for quite some time, and I'm going to put these gentlemen on the numbered. If they would go around the horn, kindly introduce themselves as if they need an introduction.
Donovan Blair, bass.
Clark Vogler, I play guitar.
Vaden Todd Lewis, guitar and vocals.
And I'm Mark Resnichek on the drums.
Excellent. Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here. I just want to let everybody know, with more than 30 years behind them, Toadies have built one of alternative rock's most enduring legacies, releasing to date 7 studio albums, which is astounding, and one right around the corner, playing major festivals, including Lollapalooza and Austin City Limits, just to name a few. They have the distinction of an official Toadies Day declared in their hometown of Fort Worth, Texas. I'll tell you what, man, I don't have that in my resume. Pretty darn impressive. Their platinum selling 1994 debut Rubberneck spawned the iconic singles Tyler and Possum Kingdom, hit #1 on Billboard's Heat Seekers chart, and spent 49 weeks on Billboard's Top 200. After reuniting in 2006, the band's fan base has continued to grow year after year. That's a testament in terms of delivering brilliant music as they leapfrog from generation to generation. Rubberneck remains a defining record of the era, earning recognition from easy for me to see, NEME. I'll rehearse that later. Ultimate Guitar, and Rolling Stone is one of the most influential grunge albums of the 90s. However, Toadies' work is far from done, and we are here to celebrate their forthcoming album, The Charmer, one of their best albums to date, in my estimation. So, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. Let's kick this show off. Brad, please roll the video.
Thank you, Steve. You made it very easy for me.
Man, as if my adrenaline wasn't already amped up, that video takes me to a whole nother level. 12. Why? Because it's one more than Nigel's 11. If you haven't seen the film, I'm not even going to explain it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Steve Harkins, your host for the Rock and Roll Channel on Talk Shop Live. Please welcome to Talk Shop Live's Rock and Roll Channel, accept no imitations, the one, the only Toadies. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here this evening. I know, man, your schedule has been pretty intense, so we feel privileged to have all 4 of you here this evening.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, listen, there's no turning back now since we're live, but where do we find you this fine evening?
We are in our rehearsal space here in Fort Worth, Texas, called The Loop.
And if I have it right, the tour kicks off, in fact, tomorrow, does it not? Do I have that right?
Yes.
How's it sounding? You guys ready? They laugh. Confidence.
It's coming together. We're putting a lot of the songs off the new album into the set, and that's been the focus of our last several days. So, yeah, it's coming together. It's gonna be really cool.
I love that. That's great news that you've worked up a lot of the new material, man. And I really think it's going to lend itself to translating really well from a live perspective. And I want to say, fans, if you'd like to ask Toadies a question or you have a comment, use the chat function. We'll get to as many as possible. Guys, we always affiliate bands with entertainment. You know, you're entertainers, but I say this with all sincerity. You know, these days we're in contentious times, not to make things political, but I truly believe what you guys do is extraordinarily important, especially today. And, it doesn't matter what religious affiliation one has or political affiliation. Man, when you guys set foot on stage, you're like the common thread. You bring people together. It's a unified front. I think it's the only common thread we seem to have these days. So let me just say thank you so much for what you do.
That's awesome. Thanks for putting it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And congratulations, on this new album. It's absolutely fantastic. You've got to feel proud of the work here.
Oh, super proud of it. Yeah.
So let's go around the horn. I mean, guys, how would you put this up there in terms of the legacy of the band? I mean, typically I know when you have new output or whatever, it's obviously your favorite because it's fresh, it's new, right? You haven't lived with it that long. But are there some standout moments or songs from your perspective?
Well, overall, I'm going to go first, I guess.
Yeah.
I've already started.
Take a number. Yeah.
Overall, overall, this is the first album that we've self-financed top to bottom. We toured and we saved our pennies and we put up enough money to go in the studio in Chicago for a month and take it all the way through mastering and all the artwork and everything. So it feels really good to have a whole record that is self-financed that we own every bit of. And so that feels great.
And that's different than the rest of the
That's
album.
unlike anything we've ever done.
It's amazing. So the only ones you have to report to are yourselves, right?
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
much.
And how did that work out? You look healthy, like no bruises or anything, no fisticuffs involved.
No, we walked really well. But yeah, we got to go to Chicago, work with our dream muso, Steve Albini. We got to work with him, and we've wanted to work with him since Jump Street, since we got signed, and back in '93 and 92, I guess. Jeez, holy moly. Anyway, yeah, we finally got to do on our own terms, our own record, exactly the way we wanted it to be, and it feels great.
Tell me a little bit about the impact that Steve made, right? I know, sadly, but that's the beauty of recorded music. I mean, this may have been, if not his last, it certainly was one of the last projects he ever worked on. So you guys not only delivered this great record, and I know he had a major role in capturing the sound and the vibe, but man, you're carrying his legacy forward. So that's gotta you gotta feel pretty good from that perspective, even though it's sad to think that we lost a brilliant man.
It's really heartbreaking that he passed not long after we made this record, but we all
Yeah.
have in our collection that were recorded by him that mean the world to us. So it's kind of hard to believe that we have an album that we made with him that we get to share with people, and that's what we're just really happy to do at this point is let people hear it.
And we had a
Yeah, let me
connection with him
yeah,
as well.
please. Go.
We
Right.
didn't just get to go and just do the record, play our songs. He engineered it and all of this stuff. I think we had a really good connection between all five of us with him. He helped us create this album. He came up with a lot of great ideas and really helped us with a couple of things that we needed help with instead of just he has the I guess like the attitude or the persona of not really getting in there and doing a lot of production work, but Steve really did on this. I think he really helped. He shaped a lot of things.
Everybody, consensus, I think it's unified front on that point. From my observations from the outside listening in, um, a great producer serves the songs and the band, not the other way around as far as, kind of dictating the vision. You used to hear, I mean, when this business became truly a business, there was often that Svengali effect of producers coming in and putting their stamp on it, whether or not it served or fit the band. And yeah, I'm originally from Chicago, and I have very strong feelings about Steve and his contributions. But the contributions you're referring to, again, were for the greater good. It wasn't like him saying, "Hey, let's just put layer upon layer." All of these songs breathe, man. They're urgent. There's just something. It's hard to describe because it doesn't sound like it's simplistic, but again, it's not overbearing in terms of just again layers of tracks or being overproduced. That's my perspective.
Yeah, that's pardon me, that's accurate. We cut this whole record live, all of us, and some of us in the same room, a lot of amps in the same room, and he just captured the sound uh, of two guitar amps and a bass amp, and just the sound pressure or whatever terms you want to use. It just has a live feel to it, and
Yeah,
then we would go back and add on whatever we needed. And he was up for doing whatever we wanted. That's what I loved about him. Well, one of the things I loved about him is he didn't have my way or the highway. It was I work for you. He said that almost every day, and let me know what you want to do. And most of the time, we were kind of like, we want you to do what you do.
yeah, yeah.
and,
It's reciprocal.
well, yeah,
Yeah, and it feels like you can almost feel like, he's a fan of Toadies. I mean, it wasn't like this was a laborious process for him. You could just sense it, having spent time in studios myself. You just feel like the vibe overall is just one that's just uplifting and, just a real positive, upbeat atmosphere.
Yeah, to your point there, Steve famously uh, didn't like to be credited as a producer.
Yeah.
He just thought of himself as an engineer. So most of his credits just read recorded by Steve Albini. Um, but a friend of ours, Scott from Local H, who's also worked with Steve in the past, um, he was hanging out in the studio with us a couple days. And before he left, he said, I've never seen Albini, actually producing. Like he's, he claims to not be a producer, but with you guys, he's taking part in the creative process. So that really made us all
Yeah.
feel pretty cool. Like
yeah,
that
yeah,
connection.
Yeah.
yeah. We would do a pass that we felt good about. And by the time we get headphones off and get unstrapped and whatever else and make our way into the control room, he's built a mix of what we just did, and it's that's producing as far as I can tell. But
Yeah.
I'm not correct, Steve Albini.
Yeah.
Scott
Uh,
also
uh,
from Local HE also added that he never saw Albini have such a good time in the room either. He was
I
laughing with us.
believe it.
He was so Scott from Local H was a little sour about that because
Yeah, well, they'll have to get over it, right, guys? I mean, it's just the way it works out, it's oh, well. But yeah, I no doubt about it. Uh, uh, Vaden, I read one of your comments, which I love too, because I'm kinda old school. Digital has provided some wonderful things and saved a lot of great music, but I think you stated no computers were used for tracking or mixing, just old school tape and, razor blades. Hopefully, nobody got injured, during the process, but man, I love hearing that.
Steve was like a surgeon with that razor blade. He could go in and cut out
Yeah,
a moment of kick drum and just put it or
I
chop
yeah.
out that boom. You take the tape, patch it together, hit play, and it's perfect.
Yeah,
I love you sharing that for sure because, there's a lot of people that don't understand that process and it's not I mean, there's a precise approach you gotta take, boy, you could blow a session, a particular track, man, if you if you're not precise. It's an art
Yeah,
form, no question.
for sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's scary to see somebody cutting tape, but he did it all day, every day. He seemed like he enjoyed
yeah,
that part.
that's so great. Striking album cover art as well. I'm curious what or who was the source, of the artwork? Feels pretty iconic right out of the gate.
Morley is an artist out of LA, a kind of a street artist. And actually, my wife turned me on to him because she follows him on Instagram. And he's got a lot of very positive, uplifting messaging in a lot of his street art.
Yeah.
What drew her to him. And I started following him. And then when this came up, we tapped into do album art, and then we found out he had done Everclear. He's done a bunch of stuff for rock bands, and fit right in with our vibe and basically everything we asked of him and more.
It was a concept Clark came up with, though.
Oh, yeah.
Clark had the
Was it?
idea, imagery more of the plague doctor and are they crows or raven?
Raven.
Thank you. I always say crow or raven.
They're close.
You know.
Yeah.
It was just when he presented us with that, something that'd been in his mind and that he'd been thinking of and seeing and kind of laid it out for us. It just worked perfectly with the album. And that came around the same time that we had all the mixes back home and we didn't know what they were going to be. And Vaden kind of came back and said, all right, I've got it. This is it. And he came up with exactly the album listing and was like, we're going to call it this. Here it is. And once that happened, then I was excited. Like, oh, now we have an album. And
Yeah.
right
The vision.
the visual, it was
Yeah.
kind of really cool to see it all come together like that.
You know, once you hit that send button, right, when it's going to, the mastering process, the manufacturing, it's your project. Now you're turning it over to the world. And I'm just curious. I mean, do you guys ever have that send button remorse where it's like, oh man, it's like all of a sudden this epiphany of like, I wish I could have back that one note or that riff, but I mean, it is what it is. In this particular project, it feels like if there are any words, I certainly couldn't tell. You guys are more sensitive because of your parts, but some of that's the beauty of recordings too, right? These beautiful mistakes.
Exactly. Yeah, we were just talking about that in rehearsal this afternoon. That going to tape, it's a live performance at its core, and
Yeah.
it may not be 100% perfect. Like with the Pro Tools or whatever digital format, you would go back in and microscopically, surgically fix that bit. And there were some punches that we did, the old big tape swipe on the machine.
Yeah.
But by and large, they are the takes as we did them. But back to your point, it's done. And it's like part of your brain just has to say it's done. And it's just,
Yeah.
and it's done. Because if you have 4 different musicians that are really nitpicky about what they do, we could still be there right now taking this thing
No
apart.
doubt.
So
No doubt.
and it doesn't matter who or when or what recording, that's just the way it always is. So I've learned a long time ago just to like, that's done, shut the door and call it a day.
Art first and foremost, but since you guys were financially responsible, you were being fiscally responsible by saying, okay, that's it. Hit the send button. We're done.
Yeah.
Not for the sake of art, but the second mortgage on the home, it's a dangerous place to be. Tell me about the songwriting process, man. I'm always fascinated by it because there's no one definitive book of this is how you craft, great songs. But can you kind of, sometimes I hear it, and it seems quite often where it's like a germ of an idea. It's like you're the vessel, and it just kind of randomly pops up, whether it's a riff or it's a melody line or it's even a lyric that is the germ of the idea, and then from there you kind of build from there. And there's some that take the kind of the workshop approach of like, okay, we're going to sit at the table and we're going to bash out a bunch of ideas and see if anything sticks and what else is on the shelf of these great ideas that I've had gathering dust, and can I resurrect those? So can you kind of share that process, because to me it's like it's an element of magic.
Yeah, well, we collected riffs that Clark would send me a riff. One of the songs on the record, Rez sang a drum beat into his phone and sent it to Clark, who put guitars on it, who sent it to me, and I manipulated it and added a chorus and stuff. So there's no telling how it's going to go.
Yeah.
Some I have an idea for a riff and I just chop to bottom, write a song. But yeah, we actually did right here in this very room. We did pre-production for how long were we in here for a long time.
Yeah.
With our producer friend of ours from Austin, Frenchie came up with a bunch of recording gear, and we sat in here and banged out 50 ideas, just like hammered them around, spent a lot of time on them, and then started eliminating things that were cool but just didn't have legs or didn't spark,
Yeah.
whatever the word is for it. Eliminated it down to slimmed it down to the number of songs we want.
Any particular tracks where, you saw it to completion, but it just didn't feel right when you were sequencing?
Well, no, I mean, we knew before we went in the studio what songs we were going to track. Because we, like I said, we're paying for it ourselves. We decided to take the old school approach that we went into this business with. We have this many dollars, we have this much time.
Yeah.
We're going to plan live and do it, and then add on and make it a record. And so yeah, we had pretty much the track listing down, as far as what songs we're going to be on.
Yeah. How about? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say that a lot of times in the songs, we get ideas and they ended up different than what they began. The very first song, the second song, Come to Life. That was a great song, but while we were in the studio, it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, especially with the vocals at the end of it. And we watched Vaden, he was just doing at the end, and he said, "Hold on, give me a sec. I've got an idea here." So he went back and hit all of them differently. And Reza and I were looking at each other like, what the hell is he doing? We didn't know, because we could hear one line a piece. I think Clark was at lunch. Clark came back and he had it done kind of within about 30 minutes or so.
Stacking up harmonies is
Just
what he's talking
over and
about.
over and over. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it was, at the end of it, we could hear what he had done, and it was just kind of mind-blowing. So we had allowed ourselves that opportunity to experiment, and Steve was more than happy to let us do that.
But I don't know if there's very many Steve Albini records that feature 4-part harmonies. This might be one of the few.
Exactly. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, that is. It does seem like it's a first, or it's pretty rare at minimum.
Yeah, actually, he was. I might have mentioned this earlier, but he was up for whatever we wanted to do.
Yeah.
He has his thing and the way he likes to do things, but he was up for whatever. So that made it a lot easier.
I think we pulled the producer out of him a little bit.
Yeah. It's so great. Yeah, and I also wanted to touch on the fact that you can't manufacture chemistry, and it definitely feels like on this record, the four of you, along with Steve's contributions, man, again, there's chemistry there. You can line up on paper some amazing musicians, and sometimes it feels awkward, or the vibe isn't necessarily there. But man, it seems like you guys are firing on all cylinders. And again, it just feels like the chemistry is right, and that's one of the things that makes this album so special.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
I think we have chemistry. We find ourselves laughing a lot.
Yeah.
Good time together.
And guys, we have a saying here on the Rock and Roll Channel Talk Shop Live that being in a band is like being married without the benefits. But but it seems like, man, you guys are civil and you're fiscally responsible, which also defies generally the definition of a band. So you guys are pioneering, new roads for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing how much bonus money you have when you don't do drugs
Yeah, little things like that, right?
anymore.
Anymore, yeah, right. Got to complete the sentence. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. I knew that was coming. How about the resurgence of vinyl, right? I mean, when you guys first came on, it was legally declared dead. I mean, right? I mean, it was a format that was just history, and the likelihood of something like that, which is, you talk about old school, the way vinyl is produced, not necessarily ecologically the most sound, but I'm not going to go off on that or whatever. But at the end of the day, the process and how you record it lends itself to this album being on vinyl, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah, and I've always every record we've done, even though I know that at certain times it's just going to go maybe it's going to go on a CD, or maybe it's just going to go on Spotify and just be one song at a time.
Yeah.
But every time we do a record, I intentionally make a side A and side B playlist,
I love that.
make a live set list. And it was, so it's really great knowing that full well that this is going to be an LP, with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Are you a tortured soul when you go through that process?
It's always, every time I'm like, this is way more work than I remembered ever being.
Right. But when it's done, it's like, okay, it makes sense, right? And to me, again, that's the beauty of this record. It isn't just experiencing it, a singular track or whatever. There's a great flow, and there's some detours that you take, and it doesn't feel like you're necessarily going way off the rails, but you take us to some places. It fits right, and that too is also an art form unto itself. Not easy always.
Well, right on. Thank you. Yeah, I got to go back to Chicago with Bob Weston, another classic, to do mastering. And once I had the sequencing done, and I'm sitting with him, and he told me, people don't come here. And
Yeah.
so that was just for decoration, but you're welcome to be. So I sat there and watched him do the whole thing. But I had a definite idea of how many, the breaks between songs, for example,
Yeah.
maybe you overlap a little bit. There's a little bit of a break here, more of a break there. And he was down for it too. So it's a cool experience, top to bottom.
Yeah, no doubt. I want to do a shout out to a number of the fans, but we've got several hundred of them here, clearly underscoring how you guys resonate, out there. But Dan ordered a copy of the Charmer. John, Ryan, Tom, Gilbert. I'm not going to be able to get through all of them. Eric, um, Matt Mosley states the songs sound on par with those from Rubberneck, which is high praise.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, and it's Halloween 365 one day. Maybe we'll get an explanation for that handle. It sounds pretty interesting. But been listening to Toadies since 1994 when Rubberneck came out, and I was 12 years old. And this kind of goes back to what I was implying before. It's like you've got original fans, but you got, again, the test of time in the material leading up to this album, which I think will be considered timeless over time. You now have generations of fans, and that is, again, that's not an easy feat. And I know it's not something that you set out to do, or maybe you even imagined, right, when you first signed up for this. But that's a testament for the Toadies for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I never thought we would do, well, first we'd be doing shows still, or doing records still, or for me personally, being alive. So, it's playing shows. I never thought that we would be doing shows where people bring their kids, and like, it's just cool experience. It's a different
Tim, yeah, yeah. Tim is saying Pittsburgh loves Toadies. Looking forward to your tour stop here. A lot of comments as far as fans looking forward to the tour. Quinn, appreciate you being here as well. Jeff ordered copies of the Charmer. So did Brad, William, Isaac, Michael, Alex. I feel like Santa, man, reading the naughty and nice list or whatever. Everybody wins. There'll be something extra in your Christmas stocking if you ordered the Charmer. Robin, Chris, Aaron, Candy. Yeah, let's see. This is a GTA Kiefer. What is your favorite song lyric wise? Is there one that stands out?
Of ours on this record.
Yeah.
I'll answer that. But yes, me. Let's see. Oh man. Probably Get Out of Your Head. Yeah,
Yeah. Good call.
there's some good. I feel like I got some really good interplay with that weird, stupid guitar that I wrote. This guitar line that is just, why don't I do this? But this guitar line that just ropes around, and I think I got some good. I'm trying to talk lyric, and I can't make word. But
You're allowed, man. You know, it's your last rehearsal before the beginning of a tour. We
But I
cut
got
you some
I
slack.
gotta get to the Pixies. There's a reference to a little fish in there, and like stuff like that. I felt like there was
Yeah.
homage to a bunch of my heroes.
You know what? I mean, there's some lyrics that, again, when you read it, may seem very simplistic, but it fits perfectly, with the instrumentation. And then there is some pretty poignant statements throughout. So overall, man, high praise for the lyrics. And again, I go back to that phrase, serving the song.
Thank you.
So, and tonight we're celebrating the first new studio album, Hard to Believe in 9 years from Toadies, forthcoming release entitled The Charmer. It was well worth the wait. The band absolutely delivered, recorded at Electrical Audio with the legendary Steve Albini, as you heard. And as we said, in fact, sadly, one of his very last projects, but one that will stand a testament to one of his best. The album releases on Friday, May 1st. However, Rock and Roll Channel fans on Talk Shop Live can order their copies right here, right now. And as Toadie's way of thanking you fine fans, Vaden, Clark, Donnie, and Mark have graciously agreed to sign a limited number of copies purchased here on the Rock and Roll Channel. To order your copies, hit the shop button on Talk Shop Live on socials, Facebook and Instagram. Comment shop will DM you a link. On YouTube, just click the link in the description. And the rest is quick, easy, and pain-free. Unlike the slight arthritic condition that the band developed, signing for you fine fans, but they're well on the way to recovery just in time for that first gig on the tour. There we go, man, flexing those fingers. Doctor's orders, and I'll tell you what, they're limited. There's no greater way to show how much you appreciate Toadie's artistry than by owning a copy of their latest and one of their best albums to date, The Charmer. So Ash's theme, man, love this opening track, instrumental, killer guitar riffs with hooks, great guitar tone. There's like this primitive guitar work. I think it's the snare, but man, I love that the snare tone, man. I think it's, as I said, I think it is, man. This one rocks and sounds nostalgic, yet at the same time feels contemporary. Really cool opening track.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Yeah, I am a huge Bruce Campbell fan and a huge Evil Dead fan. For anybody that's these movies and the TV shows, the TV show even, and his character is named Ash, and I'm watching this stuff, and I'm just like I'm just watching these crazy action, and I have this riff going in my brain, and I'm like, I got to write a theme song for this guy, and I like, pause and go to work. So shout out to Bruce Campbell. Come say hi. Come to a show.
Yes, Bruce, if you're listening, I suspect he is. Come to life, man. Rocking track. This feels like a sense of urgency on this one. Great vocal. This one gets me revved up. Majestic harmony. I think we were talking about that before, that assault towards the back end. Fantastic. In fact, guys, man, by the power vested in me at the Rock and Roll Channel, I hereby declare this better than the Keith Richards blood transfusion. Man, I was just like revved up after listening to this one.
Awesome. So
I'm not sure what you get for that, but we'll figure it out. Hopefully be safe and approved. Hey, are you guys okay with us checking out some music? I think that speaks volume.
Yeah.
sure, totally.
Awesome. So let's check out a track from, again, the long-awaited forthcoming new album from Toadies entitled The Charmer. Here's the title track, Charmer, The Charmer. And if you would, Brad, please roll the digital.
Do you leave me when you're dreaming? Do you feel me pressed to your side? I'm the liar in feet to fire. It's only you that keeps me alive. The charmer. 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 The charmer.
So, guys, full disclosure, this is the part where the fans get really pissed off at me and are like, Steve, you know, I can feel it already. How could you cut off this great track? And for those of you that have been here before, you know how it works. You have to buy the album to hear the rest of it. And trust me, the back end is just as magnificent as the first. Man, I love this title track, magical vocal lines and delivery, man. Kudos, Baden, on that. And then much like the entire album, as we were kind of talking about, the production is designed to allow these great tracks to breathe, again, serving the song, then the other way around. And, you know, and that's the beauty of it. But there's little nuances that, you know, it feels like this is an album that should be experienced with a good set of headphones.
Yes.
Agreed.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally
Yeah.
agree.
Great video as well. Wanted to be everywhere. Yet another one that spoke to me. Hypnotic track, monster vocal. This one hooked me in. And again, I mean, calling out some of the lyrics. I wanted to be everywhere at the same time. I thought I could see exactly what you look like. I thought you were real. I thought you were moving. I wanted to feel something. Looked up at the stars, and I thought I saw you there. All bruises and scars. Can you make me holy? Can you make me feel like a man? I mean, you know, reads like great prose. And, you know, really pretty powerful, pure magic on this one, in my estimation.
Dang, thanks. Thank you.
Yep. Not much
Yeah.
you can add to that. Moving moving
I,
right along.
I yeah, I don't know how to react to positive feedback. But
Go for it. There's more coming.
well, this is one of the songs that Clark wrote the riff to, and I just
Yeah.
started. I heard a melody line, heard kind of a vibe, and what I've taught myself how to do over the years is to just hit record with a live mic and just start saying words. Almost every song is like this. Just start saying words, and then just make them rhyme if I want them to rhyme, and then more often than not, at least the core of that recording is the actual lyrics. And what I've figured out is that it turns off my editor and it turns off the doubt or whatever else is going on, and just lets what I'm thinking come out of my brain. And it's fun to do, you know.
Yeah.
It works, you know. And when it doesn't work, you're not going to hear it.
For the record. Won't make the deluxe version either.
Right.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Long time, man. On the surface, from the lyric to chord structure, you know, this may seem simplistic on the surface, but man, when you go through the entire listening experience, and that's why again I go back to headphones should be required. It possesses, man, this wonderful sophistication at the same token. And you know, and also kudos to you guys, man. Toadies bar was set pretty high, but track after track, you know, I'm not just saying this, you continue to meet and often exceed. And, you know, this is usually the greatest fear and disappointment when you're committing to an album as a fan, as a listener, that you know you're going to get the front loaded cream of the crop. And it's like, oh, okay, you know, nothing, you know, things might be a bit of a letdown or just not quite, you know, at the same level. And that is absolutely not the case with this album. And again, man, a testament to you guys and the fact that you delivered a great album.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and on that note, let's hear from more of the fans if we can. Andrew was saying became a fan at 9 years of age, and I think that was on his own. It wasn't force fed that by his parents, so that was organic, and that's pretty. I think that's pretty common. Stell Stars saying I'm excited for the New Jersey show at the Stone Pony. That's pretty amazing. You guys are going to play the Stone Pony. Is that a first?
No, it's a mainstay for us. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Do you feel the vibe just like at Steve's studio? Do you kind of feel the vibe when you go in there,
oh, for sure. Yeah,
right? The history.
yeah, we've been playing there for a while, and on the first tour we went through to Stone Pony, and the whole area is. I don't know if anybody cares about this, but the whole area is just beautiful now. And when we first played there, it was sketch, like super
Yeah.
sketch, and so we asked one of the crew guys, one of the loaders, like, what do we do? Like, uh, we're here. What do we do? And he goes, you sit in the van with your gear and don't leave.
Ringing endorsement of the neighborhood. Yeah.
It all gets stolen. And now it's beautiful. There's families working and stuff. It's great.
Amazing how that works out over time. Here's another one. Rose is saying again, 9 years old. When signing up for the band, Genus, Harry and Lloyd saying love this analog approach that you guys are taking, getting back to the rawness that made alternative rock so good. They're not in approval. Not much to add to that. That's
Well,
absolutely spot
actually,
on.
there seems to be some analog revival amongst younger people who are tired of
Yeah.
digital advertisements and everything. So it's kind of coincidental that we took this approach with the record, and that this stuff is kind of growing on the outside in
Yeah.
the world, where people are tired of everything being digital and automatic and perfect, that they want some humanity out of the things that they absorb. And hopefully that's what we delivered here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
think
You know,
we had-
I agree with that.
We
Yeah.
just had the option to pay for it, so we thought, who do we want to do it? We didn't have to ask anyone. The four
Right.
of us decided this, so it was like Clark just said, coincidental, but I think it was obviously the right choice.
Yeah.
No doubt about it for sure. Kayla wants to know what's the one moment from making this album that you'll never forget, or just in general, what won't you forget about making this album?
Steve, almost every morning when we'd show up, he would say, does anybody want a fluffy coffee? And yes. And he would go make us this, was his own like special recipe of a sort of a latte type thing. But having coffee made in the morning, prepared for you by Steve Albini, is
Yeah.
pretty darn cool.
Yeah, it's like being blessed by the Pope music style, right?
My
Or-
highlight
Wherever
was,
you follow.
yeah, my highlight was having Steve Albini tell me that I'm like Bon Scott if he was from Texas.
Wow. Wear that like a badge of
Okay.
honor.
Well, now you're my favorite.
I
Yeah,
favorite
that's
one moment I remember is one day we were recording the song "I Walk a Line," and that comes from a riff that I had made, just the basic riff. By the end of the day, Steve was putting his stuff together, and he was humming that riff down, down, and I thought, victory.
that's another badge of honor that you can wear for sure.
I got
Uh,
a nice. I said there was one song we were doing, and I was playing tambourine, and I wanted to make sure it sounded really good. And we went back, and I was listening to it. And I said, "Steve, can you hear the tambourine?" And he looked up at me and said, "Who cares? It's tambourine." And who are you?
I, I would have taken him out at the knees if he said more tambourine, but right, that's already been used.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's just again remind everybody that we're celebrating again. Hard to believe the first new studio album in 9 years. And let me pause for a second. Why did it take nine years? I know some of these original ideas, I think, originated from the pandemic, which was if there was anything positive, it was a fertile time for a lot of music to be written and recorded. But was it just a situation of it? It just took time for it to ferment and evolve.
Yeah, well, I'm a lot of things, but I don't, not prolific. So I get in a my headspace and start writing. And this, regardless of what my headspace is, we're tossing ideas around for, just always tossing ideas around. Then when it got, it just seemed like all at once I started cranking out lyrics and finalizing some of these songs. But I believe we had Steve on the books prior to the pandemic, didn't we?
I don't remember.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. And then everything got frozen and then pushed back, of course. And then even once the record was done, we had we're working out people to distribute the record, and we were talking to these people for so long, and then they flame out on us. We're talking to these other people, and it just seemed to be like this one thing after another kept delaying the record. And finally, we teamed up with Spaceflight, which has been fantastic. We were able to deliver them a full, like, top to bottom, mastered artwork, everything record, and they started doing the pressing, and they're doing helping us with publicity and just a lot of stuff.
Great job.
Yeah, they're doing a great job.
Yeah, boy, you got that right. The label is also a great. I mean, it's a great story as far as their background, and I just wanted to give them a little bit of a shout out from the standpoint of who's ever heard of a record company that's not for profit intentionally, right? You know, yeah. I mean, where that is the MO, right, or the mission statement,
Yeah.
and where the artist, the artist comes first. And, I could tell in my short time dealing with them for this particular event, it's really, really evident. And boy, that's really refreshing. And who knows, maybe that becomes a trend.
Well, they were the first nonprofit label, and apparently there are more now.
Is that right?
Yeah.
They've done this though. Each of the individual guys have been in the industry, like on our side.
Yeah.
So they're going to recommend something for us to do that they wouldn't do themselves. They've toured for years. They understand what it's like to be gone for months on end and to do things. And so it's like talking to people just the same as us.
Yeah, speaking the same language.
Yeah, instead of just record label speak, they understand our part of it.
Nobody said we have to move units.
Yes. Well, that was a deciding factor. You're just waiting for that word, right? Units, and never came up. It was like, where do we sign?
Yeah.
Right. We talked about I Walk the Line, man, heart-wrenching vocal, super dramatic track. There's Get Out of Your Head. Man, a lot of joyous guitar work. Intentional or not, again, and reflecting my age a little bit, but it seems like homage to Jimmy Page's best, man, with Zeppelin, and there's this mystical vocal delivery. This was one of the examples I was implying. It's like a great musical detour from my perspective, yet doesn't feel out of place whatsoever.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Yeah, that's the guitar line that gives me nightmares.
Play and sing at the same time. But I think what you're referring to, I see there's a lot more classic rock flavor on this record.
Oh yeah.
Than previous two records.
Yeah.
We found out Steve Albini was actually a huge classic rock fan and very knowledgeable in that area. It was a surprise to me.
Yeah. During the lockdown, like a lot of people, I watched everything there was to watch, and then I went through my record collection, listened to everything there is to listen to, and just struck by some of my favorite records that I listened to when I was a kid, nonstop, and like they still hold up, and that's really cool. And so a lot of that went into, had just filtered into this record, and it feels really good to be able to give a nod to like Boston and Bob Seger and people like that.
Absolutely. It fits you guys really well, man. Just, adds another dimension. And I want to share another great track, again, from the Charmer, the Toadies' long awaited forthcoming new album. Here's Damaged. Once again, Brad, if you would please roll the digital.
Let's go out to the riverside, showtime. can get it right on. She said, I've been feeling kinda lonely, so I told her that I only really wanna make her happy. Then we both started laughing at the thought of being happy, 'cause the damage is done. Damage, damage, damage is done. Let's go out on the city, we can get dolled up nice and pretty. You can wear a little dress with the neckline, drink a little wine, feeling fine. God damn, I said you could do a lot of damage. Then we both started laughing at the thought of doing damage, 'cause the damage is done. Damage, damage, damage is done.
Man, calling an audible, but I got to ask, man, how many oxygen tanks were required, Vaden, after laying down that track? And for that matter, the whole band. I, I mean, pretty amazing, man. Just driving blistering track. I mean, more of that sense of urgency and man, live, man. This, in my estimation, will crush the crowd. And please don't burst my bubble if it's not in the set list. But great
Yeah.
narrative on it. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be, right? I mean, it's like a no-brainer. And,
Yeah,
and
that's
by the way,
what, specifically, I wanted to knock off Bob Seger's Ramblin' Gamblin' Man,
love
which
it.
is just such a fun song, and it just
Yeah.
sounds like people in a room having a good time.
Yeah,
and
great vibe.
I want to do that uh, uh, in a Toadies fashion, which means make it in a weird time signature. So yeah, that's what we were going for.
And that's you brought up something else too. It was just like kind of a footnote I put down. So, do you morph into this odd time signature? I wasn't sure if it was just like a mirage, because it doesn't feel it doesn't feel unnatural. As far as the time signature is concerned, it totally flows.
Well, good. I don't intentionally. Usually, I don't intentionally do weird time signatures. I just kind of sit down and play guitar. And when I'm writing at home, when it's just me, I'll sit down if I have a riff that's in my mind or that I wrote, and I'll record it. And then I'll go in and try to put a click to it or put drums to it so I can add more stuff and just see where it goes.
Yeah.
And that learn what time signature it is. So, like, oh man, this is 7. What am I doing? So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a weird approach to doing music.
Yeah, let's check out. I'm trying to squeeze in one more track. There's so many just great ones here. Again, Toadies' upcoming album, and trust me, this is an instant classic, The Charmer. This is Closer to You. Brad, once again, if you would please roll the digital for us.
I'm on that highway. I'm closer to you. I'm closer to you. I'm on that highway. I'm on that highway. I'm closer to you. I'm closer to you. I see the city. I see the city. I'm closer to you. I'm closer to you. Now I can feel it. Now I can feel it. I'm closer to you.
Man, love that one as well, man. I don't know if that was another time signature shift, but again, man, just felt natural, but just added a whole nother dimension of energy. I mean, perfect track musically and vocally, man. And I love the subject matter depicts that distance from being home for a prolonged period of time and finally nearing that moment. And all of us have experienced that, And so, speaking to the masses, great track.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
And I love the fact, Clark Vaden, and Rez. I feel like, Mark, after all this time we spent, I can call you Rez now, and Donnie, that, man, you guys are totally locked in, dialed in on this one. It just feels like, you just can feel the vibe.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've been the four of us for quite some time now.
18 years.
18 years. So you can't help
Amazing.
but get it, just sync into each other's, sync up with each other, mentally and every other way. So it's wait a minute, did I just say we synced up?
Yeah.
You did say that, yeah, but you didn't mention the word units, so you're good. I'll tell you what, I just wanted to call out Normal, just because, man, I would pay good money if you could put one of the lines in the lyric on a T-shirt. And I love that you keep coming back to. I just want to be fucking normal. And I'll tell you, in this time and age, I think the merch table would be popping, man, if you had a T-shirt with that phrase. And this one also, I think, is speaking to the masses.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah. That one comes right out of my own personal struggle of dealing with life and self, and and getting help and with my mental. I don't even know what to say. Getting a little corrected with my.
It was cathartic. The process was cathartic for you, probably, right? Writing this song.
Yeah, and that was. I got to a better place, and I thought I just want to describe what that feeling is, because that's, I just hate that I had to walk around with that terrible feeling for so long, and so I just want to nail it down before it's too far away and I can't remember what it is, and so that's what that song is about.
And this is one we played for these songs live for a while, but this is one that when we play it, people in the audience really respond to it, and they come up to us after the show. We get emails that this song touches people. It's nice to know that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, man, we need a T-shirt. But and I'm not totally being facetious, man. It does speak to us for sure, and appreciate you sharing it. I call your name, massively seductive, awesome musical break. This is another one that's great magic. We're gonna play Gasoline Jane, badass track on the outage, and then we close the album with In Bandages, and great closer, man. Some really powerful lyrics as well. And I just want to remind everybody that we're celebrating the release of this album, which comes out officially May 1st. You can buy it now. And these four amazingly talented individuals who make up Toadies have graciously agreed to sign a limited number of copies. It's pretty close to sold out, so you probably want to pick it up right now. Produced by the legendary Steve Albini, recorded at his studio. And all you have to do is just hit the shop button on Talk Shop Live socials, Facebook and Instagram, comment shop. We'll DM you a link. And if you're on YouTube, just click the link in the description. So, guys, man, you got a monster set of tour dates starting tomorrow, right?
Yeah. We'll be gone this run through the end of June, and then we'll be still doing shows for the rest of the year.
Yeah. And as we say, in this most unnatural lifestyle and career that picked you, not necessarily that you picked it, that's a secret to a successful marriage and family life. Being away from home that long, right? It's hard to get in trouble. So, when you come home, you're embraced for sure. But man, really looking forward to this tour. And I, for one, will be there for sure. And before we let you go, we'd like to thank all the fans, and there were several of them that were here this evening, for their support of this great band. And also special thanks to Tammy Thompson and to Rick at Spaceflight Records for his support. Our friends at Red Eye, fulfillment partners at All Media Supply, to Brian, Sandy, Tina, Joe, Jenny, Lavani, Marty, Kate, Sam, Brendan, and behind the scenes, Brad Edwards. doing great work, all from Talk Shop Live. But most importantly, to these four incredibly talented musicians, and that, of course, is Clark, Vaden, Mark, and Donnie, known as Toadies, for their musical gifts that you provide all of us. Gentlemen, before we part, any last words you'd like to share with the fans out there before you hit the road?
Just personally, if you are experiencing any kind of suicidal thoughts or thoughts of self-harm, please get help. Please seek out help. There's a number that I should know. There is a helpline. I just can't. It's gone. I'm sorry. But
Vaden, just share it with us afterwards through management or whatever, and we'll make sure that we get it out. And we really appreciate that.
I should have this memorized. But it's
Oh, good.
amazing being able to walk around without those thoughts in your mind. You feel so much lighter, and it's just a better life, a better world.
And the world needs you. We're really glad that you're here with us and in a good state of mind.
Yeah.
We want to thank these fans here for buying the record. Any of our fans that have supported us all these years, like, thanks for sticking with us. It's been a long time, and without you guys, we wouldn't be here. So thank you.
That's true.
Absolutely. And pick up, this forthcoming album titled The Charmer here at the Rock and Roll Channel and Talk Shop Live, personally autographed by all of these four brilliant musicians. While you're at it, pick up copies for friends and family. It's a unique gift that will last a lifetime. Some of you have heard me say it before. Music and art is a gift that keeps on giving. So give the wonderful gift of Toadies. These guys have delivered what I think is one of the best, if not their best, album to date. Your friends and family, by the way, will thank you for it. You've worked hard this year. You deserve it. And I do say this in all sincerity. I have it on good authority. It will enhance everyone's quality of life. We needed this record. Toadies, thank you very much for being here this evening. Personally, man, just a great album. Really appreciate it. And I know you guys have been busy, so thanks for taking the time out.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for a great interview. Nice talking to you.
Yes, definitely.
Thanks. Let's do it again sometime soon.
Yes, we'll see you at the show.
Yes, you will. You have my word on that. With that, everyone, stay safe, enjoy life, and rock on. Don't leave. We got one more track for you to hear, and it's a killer. So long, everybody. Thanks again, guys.
You guys.